I'm Echo of Grace, and I want to start by just breathing with you for a second. Take a deep one. I know why you clicked on this video. It's because the noise of yesterday is still rattling around in your head this morning. It's that heavy feeling when you open your eyes and the first thought isn't gratitude, it's dread. It's the discouragement that just seems to cling to your spirit, making every small task feel like climbing a mountain. Listen, I've been there, more times than I care to admit. There were seasons in my life where I felt like God had simply forgotten my address. I know what it feels like to pray the same words every morning, only to have them bounce off the ceiling, leaving you feeling emptier than before. I know what it is to cry all night, wondering if this weight will ever lift. But what I learned, through the grace that carried me, is that the problem isn't the prayer itself. The problem is often the soil we are trying to plant the prayer in. Think of your soul, your mind, as a garden. Discouragement is just a stubborn weed that grows back instantly if the soil isn't prepared. We can throw the most beautiful, potent seeds of faith onto hard, dry earth, but they will never take root. They will just sit there, exposed, waiting to be blown away by the first strong wind of doubt. What we need is not a list of perfect words, but a method to till the soil, to soften the ground of our hearts, so that when we speak the promises of God, the new mercies, they actually penetrate and start growing immediately. This 3-step morning prayer isn't complicated. It's simple, but it is revolutionary, because it guarantees that you are positioning yourself to receive the fresh, brand new mercies that are promised to you every single day. We are going to stop just asking for relief and start actively accepting the renewal. Are you really paying attention to this? Because this next part is the key difference between wishful thinking and actual transformation.
The first step, before you even utter a request for guidance or healing, is what I call the acknowledgement of presence. This is where most people rush, and it's why their prayers feel dry. They jump straight to asking for things, but they skip the crucial step of establishing who they are talking to, and more importantly, where He is. We must understand that new mercies are not earned, they are simply given. They are a daily gift, but a gift requires an open hand to receive it. Our first job in the morning is to open that hand by acknowledging that the giver is already here. This isn't just saying God is good. This is a deep internal shift that says, even though I feel this crushing anxiety, I acknowledge that the author of peace is standing right beside me, right now, in this moment, in this room. You see, discouragement thrives in isolation. It whispers that you are alone, that your struggle is unique and too heavy for anyone else to carry. The acknowledgement of presence is the antidote to that lie. It is the moment we deliberately choose to break the isolation. We are not asking Him to show up. We are confirming that He already did. This is step 1, and it has 2 powerful parts. The first part is confession of state. This is crucial because we have to be honest with the gardener about the state of the garden. You need to speak the truth about how you feel without spiritualizing it. If you are angry, say you are angry. If you are afraid of the bills, say you are afraid of the bills. We often try to hide our messiness from God, thinking we need to clean up before we approach Him, but that is the most exhausting lie we can tell ourselves. It is okay to be broken. That's why we need new mercies in the first place. You must confess your true state. Lord, I am discouraged. I am tired. I am struggling to believe today will be better than yesterday.
This act of raw honesty creates an immediate channel of communication. It softens the hard soil of self-protection and pride. You are telling God, here is the broken vessel. Fill it. And this leads directly into the second part of step 1, which is the declaration of sovereignty. Once you've confessed the mess, you immediately turn your focus from the size of your problem to the size of His power. This is not a vague affirmation. It is a powerful statement of belief that even if the world is shaking, He is the one holding it all together. You are declaring that despite the chaos in your heart, He is still in charge. This movement, from pain to power, is the pivot point that prepares your mind for the true acceptance of mercy. If you skip this initial preparation, if you don't confess the weeds and declare the gardener's authority, the next two steps of the prayer will just be hollow wishes. This foundation is what makes the difference between a routine prayer and a life-changing encounter. We need to move from feeling defeated to feeling anchored, and that anchor is His unwavering presence. And once that foundation is firmly set, we can move into the second step, which is where we actually engage with the concept of renewal and forgiveness, preparing the heart to receive the daily download of grace. We've laid the groundwork, friends. We've been honest about the mess, and we've recognized who is truly in charge of the garden of our soul. Now we enter the second phase of this morning ritual, the part I call the prayer of acceptance. If step 1 was about clearing the weeds, step 2 is about watering the thirsty ground. I know what it's like to wake up and feel the heavy baggage of yesterday still strapped to your back. Maybe you messed up an important relationship. Maybe you spoke words you regret. Or maybe you just feel like a perpetual failure, stuck in the same loop of bad habits.
Trust me, I have woken up feeling like I was carrying the weight of 100 mistakes, wondering if God was tired of my repeat offenses. I know that silent, crushing guilt that makes you feel undeserving of even opening your eyes for a new day. But this step is the antidote to that feeling. It's the moment we stop focusing on our performance and start focusing on His promise. We are not asking for forgiveness here, as much as we are actively accepting it, like reaching out and taking a gift that has already been paid for. Think of your soul right now as dry, cracked earth. It's brittle from the heat of yesterday's worries and the shame of last night's tears. The beautiful truth of the scriptures tells us that His mercies are new every single morning. They don't trickle down. They are poured out like the heavy, life-giving dew that covers the desert floor before the sun rises. That morning dew is the fresh mercy. So how does this prayer sound? It sounds like permission. It sounds like this: Father, I accept the mercy you have already prepared for this day. I release the debt of yesterday, not because I earned it, but because your promise is true. I am clean, I am renewed, and I am ready to receive the fresh energy you have for me right now. This isn't a mechanical repetition. It is a deep internal surrender. You must allow yourself to feel clean. You have to stop arguing with grace. I see so many people, myself included sometimes, who pray for forgiveness, but then immediately pick up the guilt again because it feels familiar. That familiar guilt is an anchor, and we are commanded to cut the rope. Are you ready to let go of the story you keep telling yourself about how flawed you are?
Because if you hold on to that old story, you block the new mercies from entering. You can't pour fresh water into a cup that is already full of stale, sour resentment towards yourself. This renewal isn't just about sin, it's also about energy. Discouragement is often spiritual exhaustion. When we accept His new mercy, we are accepting a fresh flow of spiritual energy, that vital force that allows us to face the specific challenges of the next 12 hours. We are asking for the strength to deal with the annoying coworker, the difficult financial decision, or the persistent anxiety that tries to creep back in the moment we step out of bed. We are asking for the dew to soak into the ground so that the seeds of faith can actually take root. This acceptance is the pivot point where we stop focusing on the negative things we must avoid and start focusing on the positive things we must embrace. It shifts the energy from defensive to offensive, preparing us to walk through the day with purpose, not just reaction. And this leads us perfectly into the third and final step, which is often the most overlooked piece of the puzzle. We've cleared the ground, we've watered the ground, but we haven't yet planted the seed. The final step is where we move from passive acceptance to active declaration, anchoring the entire day in a specific, powerful way that guarantees those new mercies actually stick. This is how we move from simply feeling better for 5 minutes to truly conquering the discouragement before it even has a chance to settle in. So, we arrive now at the third and final step of this morning prayer technique, what I call the declaration of sufficiency. If the first step was clearing the soil, and the second was watering it with acceptance, this third step is where we actually plant the seed. This is the most crucial moment
because it moves us out of simply reacting to our feelings and into actively creating the emotional and spiritual landscape of the day ahead.
For many years, when I was struggling with chronic discouragement, I would pray defensively. I would ask God to take away the anxiety or stop the bad things from happening. But the declaration of sufficiency is radically different. It's not about begging for something you lack. It's about speaking the truth of what you already possess through grace. I know how silly that sounds when you wake up feeling absolutely empty. I've been there, staring at the ceiling thinking, how can I declare sufficiency when my bank account is low, my relationship is strained, and my energy is zero? I've cried the night away, feeling like God had completely forgotten my address. The key here, my friend, is that the declamation isn't based on your current feelings, but on the unwavering nature of the promise. We are planting a seed of truth in the messy soil of our morning feelings. The prayer declaration itself is simple yet profound. You focus on two things only: a statement of identity and a statement of intention. The statement of identity reminds you who you are, or more accurately, whose you are. It's the anchor. You might say, I am loved, not because I am perfect, but because I am His. Or, I am capable of handling today's challenges because the strength available to me is not my own. This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual anchoring. You are literally telling your mind what truth it must prioritize. Then comes the statement of intention. This is where you proactively define how you want to show up today. You don't declare the outcome you want, you declare the action you will take. Instead of praying, please let my boss be nice to me, which is outside your control, you pray, today I choose to respond to others with patience and kindness, regardless of the tension I face.
Do you feel the difference? This shifts the power back to you. You are choosing your response, planting a seed of patience and trusting that the new mercies will provide the sun and water needed for that seed to grow. We must be intentional about this planting because the world is constantly trying to plant weeds of fear and comparison in our minds. If we don't plant something good first, the weeds will always win the race. I want you to listen to this closely now. This is a pattern interrupt, a moment to truly pause and absorb the weight of what we are discussing. Are you actively choosing your intention every morning? Or are you letting the morning news, social media, or past anxieties choose it for you? The declaration is your shield, built not of metal, but of spoken truth. This three-step process, clearing the clutter, embracing acceptance, and declaring sufficiency, is a complete spiritual ecosystem. It takes about 5 minutes, maybe 7, but it completely redesigns the architecture of your day. You start by clearing the noise, the mental chatter, the to-do list anxiety, creating that quiet space. Then you step into acceptance, acknowledging the reality of the present moment without judgment, releasing the need to control everything immediately. And finally, you plant the seed of intentional action and unwavering truth, anchoring yourself not to the storm, but to the rock. The beauty of this guarantee of new mercies is that it's not a one-time deal. It's not a lottery win. It is a daily, renewable resource. But you have to show up to receive it. You have to prepare the soil. You have to choose the seed. And when you do this consistently, you will find that discouragement, that heavy blanket that used to smother your mornings, slowly begins to lift. It doesn't mean life stops being hard. I wish I could promise you that. But it means your foundation becomes unshakable.
You will still face storms, but your boat will be anchored to the harbor, not drifting aimlessly on the open sea. Remember that first step, the clearing of the mind? It's the hardest part for most people because silence forces us to face ourselves. But that silence is where the strength is hidden. The moment you declare that truth, that seed of sufficiency, you are drawing on a well that never runs dry, a well that is refreshed every single morning. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming stronger, more resilient, and more peaceful in the very core of your being. My sincere hope for you, my friend, is that you stop letting discouragement steal your peace before the sun even fully rises. Take these 3 steps, practice them gently, and give yourself grace when you miss a day. We are all imperfect gardeners, learning how to tend the soil of our own souls. But the promise remains.
His mercies are new every morning. All you have to do is show up, prepare the ground, and plant the good seed. If this message resonated with you, if you feel that quiet stirring of hope that says, "Yes, I can try this," please take a moment to share this with someone else who might be struggling right now. We are all in this journey together, and sometimes the greatest mercy we can offer is simply showing a friend the path to peace. If you want more guidance on how to maintain this peace throughout the day, click subscribe. I'm here for you, walking this road alongside you, cheering you on every step of the way. God bless you, and remember to tend your garden today.